Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to invest your money properly in EU5. I'm going to cover a few points here. I have them on my notes next to me. I'll move quite quickly through them, so feel free to pause if I'm going too fast or something. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. But with that out of the way, let's get started. Your main source of income is going to come from taxing your estates. You're gonna have a little bit of trade income, but that's not going to be close to how much you get from tax. And this tax income actually comes from your buildings and your RGOs. That's why it's so important that you know how to invest your money properly in building up your buildings and your country in general and building RGOs. So most buildings have multiple production methods, and this is basically the recipe that the building is going to use to produce the good. It takes an input and an output, and the profit is really just whatever you earn by selling the output minus whatever you're spending to buy the input good. That's the profit, and then it gets affected by your control, and then it gets affected by your tax rate. Note, however, that RGOs do not have an input and will thus always be profitable. This means that as long as you have control in the location, it will always be good to expand the RGO, right? So if we're going to look at London, in total, the level 5 Spinners Guild is making 1.38 profit, and that results in 1.38 tax base because we have 100 control, so we get everything in tax base. And then again, it gets affected by 45% tax rate, and that's what we end up earning from the burgers. Now, if you want to increase this profit, you can do a couple things. You can either lower the price of the input good, you can increase the price of the output good, or you can increase your production efficiency. Also, if we didn't already have 100 control and market access, we could increase those, with control being more important than market access, but market access is also a factor. So what you do when you have money is you go into your buildings. I like removing the market filter, that way I see everything for all my markets, not just the pre-selected market. You sort by profit, and you look here on the top end what you would earn as profit, and obviously this is very high. Click on the one with the highest profit and you start building them up. Here you can again sort by how much money you make by them, also production efficiency, but I'll get into that later. 99% of the time, this order is going to be the exact order of control. There's also market access. It's fairly important as well. Usually this is going to overlap with control quite a bit, since a lot of countries have a market center in their capital. It has 90% market access, meaning that the output of the good gets reduced by 10% because you're lacking 10% market access for full throughput. Yeah, this is not a huge deal because your input also gets affected by this market access. So you won't get less profit per se, but you will get less profit per building. Your buildings themselves are just going to be less efficient, but you're not going to lose money. Like for example, we have relatively high market access here, but low control, but that's bad because we are producing, the market access is dictating the throughput of one building, but the control is dictating how much money you actually get from it. But you don't want the building to be producing when you're not earning any money from it, because you're wasting the opportunity, right? If this building is here and it's producing, it's going to use up the opportunity that a better building could have had, right? If I have, let's say this was built up a lot and I had level 10 tools guild here, then I would be wasting a lot of the iron I have and flooding the market with tools while I'm not really earning a lot of money from it. I would be better off moving these buildings to somewhere where I have higher control, so I can get way more profit. Because you can see here, I have only 0.04 taxes per level for this tools guild. And my tools guild in London is 0.18. That's over 4 times as much. This is only because of the control. The control is the only reason that this is happening. Next up is how I mentioned earlier that you can make more profits if the price of the output is high and the price of the input is low. But how do you manipulate this exactly? There are a few ways. A very easy thing that you can do immediately is just upgrading the RGOs of the input good. For example, over here, I'm making cloth in these spinner guilds. Now, other than the fact that the RGOs themselves will probably make you a lot of money, as you can see here, these profit margins are very high. They also push down the price of these goods, making your consumer goods more profitable because the input goods will be cheaper. Just having wool in this province is giving me a 10% production efficiency to make cloth. Buildings that manufacture something get a plus 10% bonus production efficiency if the input good is an RGO in the same province. You can see this here as well. I have masons, they get plus 10% production efficiency because I have stone here. If I'm making tools, again, plus 10% because I have iron in the same province. And this 10% is quite significant. As you probably know, price of a good is dictated by supply and demand. Here you can see for firearms, the supply is lower than the demand. So you can see the price is relatively high over here. How exactly do you increase the demand of the output good? There's a few sources of demand. First of all, the most consistent one is pop needs. So for example, the peasants in Paris are demanding wine, liquor, beeswax, pottery, cloth, etc. What you will notice throughout your playing is that there are few goods that tend to get demanded a lot and consistently. And cloth is one of these, because you can already see cloth gets demanded quite a lot for the peasants. Let's look at the burghers. The burghers in London are also demanding cloth, but now they're also demanding fine cloth. So if in theory, as your population increases and the development in these locations, your demand is going to go up, which is good. In EU5, if your population demands more, it's good because it makes more opportunity for profit. So you can see that here I recognize this pattern already, and I have level 5 spinners guild here. It's not the best, but it is profitable. Here it's also profitable. I have Tailor's Guild making fine cloth. Now I could improve this Tailor's Guild by increasing the price of fine cloth again, and you will see also your nobles demand a lot of fine cloth, 0.74, and this is only 1,000 nobles. You don't need to remember all of these demands that your pops have, because it will get represented in the price. If in general your pops start demanding like jewelry, for example, or fine cloth, you don't have to keep track in your market every time of what the price is or how much demand there exactly is for Tailor's Guild, because if the price is good because of the demand, you will see it in the profit. High prices for fine cloth will represent in the building profit. So if you just check this, it will automatically see what has a good price. Because here I can already tell you that the jewelry is going to have a good price because it makes so much profit. It's not bad. So here I would build jewelry. Now, the thing is that jewelry is not good that gets traded in high volume. Building up the Jewelers Guild in only one city will satisfy the demand. I also want to add that if you share your market with other countries, they are competing with you to supply goods. This means that all of the demand in the market also gets shared between whoever can satisfy the demand. As a consequence, eliminating the other countries that are supplying goods that you are trying to sell will lower the supply and in turn increase the price, meaning that you can make more money and potentially increase your production. In addition to increasing the development in your location, you can also increase the demand through pop needs by building villages, since they allow for more burghers, laborers, and soldiers to be promoted, which have more demand than peasants. Also, urbanizing locations, allowing you to create more burger buildings, will result in more burghers being in your country, since the peasants have to promote 2 burghers to staff the buildings. So that is pop needs. Next, I want to talk about production chains. A lot of the times in buildings and so in their production methods, you will see that they demand as an input another good that is produced by another building. Now, this is quite a clear pattern, so you can actually make a chain. One of the good chains is the one we've already talked about. Tailor's Guild produces fine cloth and takes in cloth, but the Spinner's Guild produces cloth. So when you build the Tailor's Guild and you start making fine cloth, the demand and thus the price for cloth will automatically go up because you're using it. Now this is a very small chain because it's only 2 pieces. The cloth itself can be made from wool, which is an RGO, and that's where the chain would stop. Okay, so now we've moved to another example. I want to again show you how pop needs really drive your economy. Here I'm driving up the price of cloth. First of all, by increasing my populations, and especially burghers and laborers and clerics. Now, burghers are very easy to get more of, and that is you want to build more buildings that require burghers, because then the peasants will promote into burghers. And also, I have the Tailor's Guild. If you build a Tailor's Guild and the Tailor's Guild starts buying cloth off the market, it increases the demand. And so you can see that the price, even though I'm making a lot of cloth, the price is still decent. It's 2.28. And so my Weavers Guilds are very profitable here. This is very profitable. And this is an example of a combination of making a chain and using pop needs to drive up the price of the good. I'm making a chain with the Tailor's Guild, and my burghers are demanding the cloth. You can also increase the stimulus by exporting it, because if you're exporting a good from your market to another market, you're also demanding the good in your own market, and so you can drive up the price again in your own market. Now keep in mind that when you're driving up the price in your own market, it might make the trade unprofitable, especially since the markets where you are dumping it, there it might plummet the price of the good, making your trade unprofitable. Now you could keep the trade unprofitable and just eat the trade expense, but it's not always worth it. So exporting, in my experience, it's somewhat effective, but you really need to be mass producing the good for the price to stay stable in your own market. And it currently actually is exporting jewelry. So in my own market, the price is going up for jewelry because I'm exporting it to Venice. Obviously, if there's an opportunity for a good trade, the automation will do it anyway, and it will have good consequences on your own market in terms of the price. Because you can see here, the price is going up because I'm exporting it, because the demand is high. We're actually exporting a lot. Obviously, you can invest your money in all these profitable buildings and your money will go up, but money is not the only important thing in this game. You also need to increase your population, because your population is what you need to upgrade locations into cities, to employ the buildings, to levy for war, to all sorts of things, right? So how do you increase pop growth? One of the easiest things for pop growth is a granary, because a granary, you can see here, granary increases food capacity. And food capacity impacts your population growth directly. Here you can see large food storage in province plus 0.15. Next, you can invest it into research. I like using here the cards display because it divides all the buildings into categories. And if you look at cultural buildings, you can see library and university. These are very good buildings. First of all, pop promotion speed. If you have that in a city, it allows you to promote your pubs into laborers and into burgers faster so that you can fully staff your profitable buildings faster. Cultural influence is good to assimilate the location to your culture. Max literacy also very good. Monthly literacy very good. Institution growth very good. So this is all very good to support the city. This doesn't give you money directly, but the promotion speed allows you to increase the profit of the city faster. And the institution growth and the literacy are research bonuses. So you're gonna get to the tech tree faster, and you're gonna get those powerful techs sooner, and more of them. But again, these universities are very expensive. So that's why you need to build the profitable buildings first, and then these buildings. The thing is also that these buildings demand certain goods. Now you will pay to buy these goods from the market, but this also means this is stimulus, right? This is demand for these goods. So it gives you an opportunity to build paper maker buildings, bookmaker buildings, glass guilds, to make a profit for those goods as well. Next, proximity. In infrastructure, you can see here, you have a bridge, gives proximity speed. Pound Lock Canal gives proximity speed. There's also hospitals. This kind of gives population growth because it reduces the amount of people you lose from disease. You can also invest your money into military, and so this obviously gives manpower. More manpower means a bigger army, and a bigger army means that you can push your weight around more, right? You need to conquer land. Something important to remember as well is that the value of a location is amplified by the population and the development. So high population and high development and high control means value. You can already see here as well, the tax base is very high. Here, Genoa has 150 tax base. Why? Because it has 62 development, it has 130k population. And so consequently, it has 180 possible building levels. Finally, I want to talk about urbanization. Now I'm going to tell you when you actually want to upgrade locations to a city, okay? First of all, you want to look at high control. Cities are expensive, and so you want to get immediate value out of them if you upgrade stuff to a city. So you focus on high control. You can see this as well here. My highest control is along this river over here, a little bit here, a little bit here, but mostly in this area. And this is also where I urbanized. I built a lot of towns here. I'm building cities here. Before I had a local governor here, so I had very high control here as well. Now my local governor is here, so I'm building up this area. So that's the first thing, control. Market access is important as well, but not as important as control. Second is RGOs. You actively want to urbanize bad RGOs, and you want to keep good RGOs rural. So as an example, these silver mines, I want to keep these rural for sure, because a rural settlement gives 100% RGO size, and these silver mines are giving me a lot of money. In contrast, this is a clay RGO, not very good, so I made it a city. Now, I also made this a city because it had enough population to become a city, which is 30,000. And it also had a very high control, and it had a decent development and so on. Now, most of the time, what decides if you're going to make it a city is just going to be, what can you make a city? Because it needs to be 30,000 population. Now, you can make it a town for which you only need 5,000. But a town is much less valuable than a city. Why? Because towns have lower building limits. Here only 61, max level is only 5. But here, for example, in Vienna, I have level 12 Spinners Guild. which is a big difference because the building levels here, they give production efficiency, and production efficiency just increases your profit by a lot because it amplifies your production. Normally here I would have 12 output on my Spinners Guild, but I have 13.44 because I have all these production efficiency bonuses. And this increases your income, but does not increase your expenses. Increasing your income by 12% increases your profit by more than 12% because it doesn't also increase your expenses. Your expenses stay the same, your income increases, your profit increases by a lot. So that's why you want to achieve the very high building levels, because it's the easiest way of production efficiency is just by building higher levels. Also, cities are way better because higher max control. I already stated enough times how important control is. Higher population capacity, both flat and percentage wise. This increases pop growth because available free land here plus 23%. This is the biggest factor on my pop growth. It's just that I have a high pop capacity. Yeah, that should be it. So high population, high development, high control. Try to, at least in your high control area, so over here, try to get one town/city, preferably city, but if your pop is too low, it's not feasible. One town, one city in every province, because it's going to support the entire province in terms of pop growth. What do I mean by that? The only locations where you can build granaries is in towns and cities, not in rural settlements. But just the granary being in the one location in the whole province is going to massively boost the food capacity, right? You can see this is the entire province. Food capacity gets shared between the entire province. So this one location is carrying the entire food capacity of this province. So to the entire province, it is giving this huge pop growth boost. And you want to invest into this pop growth because it's going to pay off long term. Because again, more population means more demand to goods, means more opportunity to make profit. It means also more opportunities to make cities. Because the moment that these locations, this one is quite close, this one just passed over it. The more of these locations that are 30,000 population means you can make another city, and another city means more value, etc. Because also you need a city or a town to make universities. You need a city to make a local governor here. If you can build more cities, you have more options in terms of local governors. And local governors are super important because they give a lot of proximity and in turn they give control. And control is one of the most important things in the game. Anyway, that was it for today. I hope you learned something. If there's other aspects of investment that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments. Until next time.